Now, today's show has been all about celebrating young foodies and all their amazing talents. And since they've shared their recipes with us, we've decided to show them one of our absolute favorites, with a little bit of a surprise as well. Now, welcome back, Layla. I'm so glad to have you. Are you ready for dessert?
Yes, always.
But before
we also have to leave space for dessert, though.
This is my girl. This is my girl. What I love about you is that you're confident, you're outspoken, and you're a girl who knows what she wants. Now, when it comes to finding out who your favorite foodie or chef is, who's that person?
It's Herman Lensing, and I do like his way of cooking because it's always something new, something our grandparents made, and he uses these ingredients to make something new and definitely more delicious, I feel. So it's something I have his cookbooks. I'm really inspired by his way of cooking.
I also think that's so special. You know, a lot of people want that kind of mentor in the kitchen, someone that umama can be proud of, that's someone that you look up to. Now, if you were to say one thing to Herman, if he could watch from wherever he is, what would that be? What kind of shout out would you give him, if you could give it to him there?
I would say, well done on everything you're doing and honoring your mother and your grandmother through your cooking. It's honestly so inspiring.
Oh, and on that note, we have got
Dit is so mooi. My English are very limited. I will speak this fluent English like the Afrikaans people do. Baie mooi woorde, dankie my Engel.
Thank you.
I mean, when you hear someone like Layla just speaking about you in such a beautiful way, how does that make you feel? And don't worry, you can speak Afrikaans.
No, it makes me so proud. You know, we all are only the result of the people that you surround yourself with, you know. And it's like, I work because I want to inspire people, because I was at a young age inspired to cook and om die taal van kos te praat, you know, and that is amazing to hear that I can inspire people. I mean, that's why we're here, to make other people's life better and make them smile. So dankie my Engel.
And how are you feeling right now?
Overwhelmed. Honestly, dumbstruck, to say the least. But it's amazing. It's amazing.
Oh,
Ons lyk mooier in regte lewe.
Oh,
As op die TV.
I agree.
I can see the tears welling up in Layla's eyes. I am truly moved. This is how we're going to kick off our Youth Month, and we're going to keep it going throughout. So, Dumi, it's time for that sweet ending.
Yes, darling. We are getting it nice and sweet here at the end. And to start it off, I've already started cutting up some croissants. Yes, whenever you're making bread pudding, most people will stick to normal white bread. But I think let's just zhuzh it up a little bit. You know, this is what you're about. This is what Layla said.
Yeah.
You like to add your bit of flavor to
I mean,
stuff.
all the croissants laying around in the house anyway.
You know, so why not?
Why don't we make pudding with it?
Exactly. So I'm cutting up some croissants over here. And Palisa, right next to you, you've got a whole array of breads that you could use as well. We've got more spolloky, we've got brioche bread, we've even got potbroodjie, which I feel like you could also use, right?
Yeah, like imagine making a big potbrood bread and butter pudding. You cut off the top and you bring this bread oor en skinder oor jou vermaan.
Delicious. Well, already Layla and I are like, okay, give us more. Give us more. I'm already starting with the egg mixture because we know a bread pudding is not a bread pudding without the eggs. Hey.
Correct.
Of course.
All right, and into that, we've also got some ingredients that Herman's going to be using here. You've got some milk, cream, sugar, and some vanilla essence, and those eggs go into that mixture. Layla, being the guest here because we're making youth, she's going to put the finishing touches to everything with some icing sugar and some raspberries and a bit of custard.
I mean, this is the magic to life. I mean, cream and milk. It is about where's the butter? Yes, the
right
butter.
there.
I mean, life is perfect. What more do you need?
It's so interesting that you did mention where is the butter, because our key word today, every time we spoke about you coming in, we said, it's our surprise butter. That surprise butter, because we are making a raspberry bread and butter pudding. Now, the eggs have been whisked up. Do you mind passing that to Chef?
Thank you so much.
And speaking of you being a chef, I mean, we are in Youth Month. You got your start with food at a very young age yourself. I mean, at the age of 22, we saw you as a food editor for a very popular magazine. Can you just tell us about your journey whilst you're cooking?
Whilst I'm cooking. Look, I'm a man, we can't do two things at the same time. No, you know, I was very fortunate enough. I grew up in a typical Afrikaans home where food was the center of everything we did, you know, and I always knew that food was the one thing. I always said to my friends and my family, I want to do something where I can make an impact in people's lives every day, and never knowing that I'm going to end up in a place where I did. So from a young age, I wanted to be a chef. I studied to be a chef, and then ended up working for Sari magazine And Michelle from Radar was the editor. I still think that the alien was inside her body. I still don't know why she employed me. But yeah, it was amazing. And I mean, that was that moment of truth. You know, there's always that one moment of truth that changed your life. And if I didn't say yes to that application, or didn't click on that link or applied, you know, I wouldn't have, my whole life wouldn't have changed. And since that day, I mean, things have just changed for me. I've got the opportunity to cook with people right across the world, you know, inspire them with food. And I think there's that one moment a day where we all have to sit around a table and look each other in the eye, you know, and enjoy food. And if I am able to inspire people to cook simple stuff, good food doesn't mean that you have to have a whole pantry of ingredients. It's everyday stuff. It's about that, like what your bedoeling is, you know, what you want to put on the table.
And how it makes you feel. And
Exactly.
I believe that food is a labor of love. We always say it in our Afternoon Express cook-alongs and master classes, and that's what we're displaying now. I know you are definitely feeling the love. So if I were to turn that question around on you, it is Youth Month. What does Youth Month mean to you?
I think Youth Month is such a prominent part in our youth lives. And I think most of the youth actually don't know what Youth Month actually means and what happened in the history. And I think it's important to remember our worth in the society and that we can make a difference even though we are still young. And that we should start young. And then it will build up when we're much older. We will look back and be really thankful for what we did at a young age.
It's so true, and I'm so glad that you've said that. You know, someone asked me recently from a magazine, what generation would you want to be born into? What era, what time? And I said, none other than the current, because I believe that our generation have something special to give. And we're kind of in the middle of the old school and the new school, coming together in a beautiful way. And it takes such young, brave youths like yourself who can celebrate those youths in 1976 and say, you know, bravo to you. But we're going to keep that torch going. Speaking about keeping torches going, how's it going on your side, Henry?
No, it's going international here. Like, really, like this is the bread and butter pudding and go on the pages of Vogue. I mean, really.
Wow, yeah, and Palisa, we've just added our croissant, which is in itself very nice and buttery. And then into there, do not be shocked, it's going to melt nicely into this dish. We're adding some butter. Okay. And then we're going to let this cook down, but we're going to add our beautiful sauce that Chef made for us into there, because bread and butter pudding is all about that mixture as well. So all of this goes together into our oven to bake nicely. And the other thing is, don't worry about the sweetness, because we only put the sugar in here. But croissants have a touch of sweetness as well, so you don't need too much sugar in this recipe.
Well, not in my kitchen. I like to add sugar to everything.
Excuse me. So that's going to go into the oven to bake nicely. What temperature would you say, Chef?
I think like 180 degrees. The magic to a bread and butter pudding is that you must never overbake it. Like the eggs, oh, it's a big word for me, they're coagulated at 60 degrees Celsius, I think. So it's like you must bake it like it's almost like a bit of jelly. So when you take it out, it will cool down and set nicely and you get that melt in the mouth texture. Wow. There's nothing worse than a piece of biscuit on your plate. You want to have something that melts in your mouth, you know?
True. Absolutely, and I think that is what the key is to this pudding. A lot of people might overcook their bread pudding, making it hard, making that crust that little bit more painful. So I love the fact, Chad, that you've spoken about the consistency. It has to be almost jelly-like.
Yeah.
Okay, it's got to move, it's got to
I believe it.
And then speaking about...
A bit nervous.
A little nervous. Speaking about moving, you are putting the finishing touches, Leila, on this. So what do you have in front of you?
I have some icing sugar for the little dust effect. And then we're going to put on a bit of custard, just because it's not as sweet. Yeah. I'm not a sweet tooth myself, though, but I do like a bit of custard.
You
just
did
to
say
even
that,
out the balance.
Yeah, you do say that you do love a good bitter, sweet kind of mixture.
Yes, a combination of everything. And I think that's important to have balance and not just too sweet. Oh, that's my opinion.
It seems as if we got someone here who's all about balance, whether it's in the classroom, whether it's outdoors, or in their own menu, in their own kitchen, the things that they put in their body. How important is nutrients, especially in these young ones?
Yeah, I mean, what you put in your body is a direct, you know, like outcome of what you become, you know. So source local ingredients, always try to make things from as natural as possible. I mean, that's the secret.
Beautiful.
And limit a bit of sugar.
Just a little bit.
A little bit.
Just not too much.
Well, as you guys are going back and forth about all things sugar, we can never get enough of a deliciously made bread and butter pudding. And we know that you can hurry over to afternoonexpress.co.za to get your hands on this recipe and just so much more.